Let's see if YouTube has received this notification. Like, I wonder if I've done it like that before. I don't know if that really counts, does it? Does this automatically get sent to YouTube? I'll have to have a look. Okay, so okay, hello. Someone's watching this. ZC Fire Systems. Let's just wait for more people to get on this stream. Also, have you noticed that? Well, I don't know if it worked this time, but apparently last time the microphone was actually set on the webcam and not this. Hence why it was so quiet. I don't know if you can hear me better now, but just trying. Hello, Alarm Museum. 2 people in 30 seconds. That's quite good. Well, 1 minute 17 more like. Okay, 3 people are watching it now. In a couple of minutes I'll probably get something off my chest about a situation that happened recently. I mean, speaking of which, this kind of situation is never happened before, and I don't know if it will again, but who knows? It's just, But yeah, you're in for a real treat of a story in a minute, if I'm honest. It's kind of interesting, but kind of different. And also, don't think for a minute that this happened in London, because it didn't. You'd expect it to happen in London, but it didn't. Well, I mean, I guess the closest to a situation like this happened in London, but it wasn't as bad as this one. We're still at 3 people watching, and we're in 2 minutes 30 seconds already. We'll just have to see about it. Well, if anyone misses this live stream, they can just come back to it later and watch it, or if it gets uploaded to YouTube. I mean the other one did, so this one should as well. It's just okay. We've got 4 people now. I'm not sure of all the places to get banned from a shop. I mean, really, and for all sorts of situations, you wouldn't. I mean, it probably happens when you least expect it. Perhaps. Okay, we're up to 5 now. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and just start a situation. If anything, if I remember correctly, well, it was probably like one of the last places on the day that I've been to in this area. Well, before moving on to the next, place of, So yeah, as the title says, it's kind of obvious, really, but this sort of thing has never happened before, and I mean the closest thing I tend to get. I mean, I go through loads of situations when it comes to picturing fire alarm systems everywhere, particularly in London. But even in London, this has never happened before, and of all places for it to happen, it's in closer to where I live, to be honest. The kind of place you wouldn't expect it to happen. Sure, we do have the odd other sort of situation of being caught here and there around this area as well as London, but still. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, they were probably hiding something for me to get banned for picturing their fire alarm system. But I don't think there is anything to hide, really, because the system was in perfect working order, and the panel had no faults, I don't believe. The only thing that could possibly rule it out would probably be the fact that the system had no detectors. But that's okay. I see loads of systems with no detectors. Well, not loads, but how did you know that? Antiques Place in Ely. How did you know that? Well, yeah, it is that place. Of all the places to get banned, have you been through that situation as well at that place, or do you just know that I've been there? Okay, I guess you really are in for a real treat then, aren't you? Well, yeah, but let me tell you something. It didn't happen until the very last minute when I'd finished picturing everything. But you know how the owners. Maybe you should expose this stream to that antique store in Ely, where I got banned from it. I mean, what made you think it was that place? I hadn't even mentioned the place name, have I? I just mentioned that I got banned from a place for picturing their fire alarm system. That's it. I didn't say where it was. Well, I did say that it wasn't in London, where it most likely happened. Yeah, I know that. I do have cameras everywhere, but somehow they didn't see me picturing everything. I mean, I'd come that far to picturing like literally everything on that system. Okay, sure, yeah, I suppose the photos give it away, but because I've been banned from that place, I did not tag the locations at the time. And, well, I just said it was in Ely, Cambridgeshire. I didn't know really what to think. I just in case they tracked me down, but you know what? Maybe I should just say, well, fuck that. I'm just gonna let them track me down. They can track me down for all I care. They can see how many other times I've done it. I mean, really, I've been doing this for nearly 10 years or so. I mean, there had been a few gaps in between. Like, you saw how many photos was only taken in 2012 and 13, right up to 2015, where it really started. But yeah, well, maybe this may be a message to stay away from that place. Although some other people who take pictures in there don't tend to get the same treatment, which is probably a bit strange. But I suppose you can't ban everyone from that place, can you? But yeah, I figured I'd just have a look in this mysterious place that was by the side of the River Great Ouse. I figured I'd see what was in there. Probably, if anything, it had a sort of semi-modern chloride Bardic system. Like, the system had no detectors at all. It had loads of call points in which all of them were the same, and all of the sounders were all flash noise, the shallow bass type, probably the early version. And then, like, I did actually picture a load of emergency lights there because there was a big variety of those as well. So yeah, I probably spent like nearly 30 or 40 minutes in that place, and yet they didn't catch me until literally just as I walked out. So like it was when at the last minute when this is probably why I save the most exposed sort of areas for last, really, in case a situation like that happens, because I start with the areas where you're not very exposed, or where there's kind of most valuable equipment, perhaps. But yeah, like, I mean, I look at a sort of certain area in the building, I'm like, that bit's a bit exposed. I think you better save that bit till last, because I'll only get caught picturing that. So yeah, like, I guess it's not one of those places, really. So like, So yeah, I saved that till last. I guess it was the right thing to do for once, because yeah, obviously the last picture was the chloride Bardic panel. If anything, it was actually the 8-zone version, which is quite rare. I mean, the only place I'd ever seen the 8-zone version of the chloride Bardic Zircon, or ADIs it's actually made by, is the Tefalca Centre. And that one wasn't even chloride Bardic brand, it was branded AA Fire. So that's the only other place I'd seen one of those panels. So I'd say it was worth revealing its existence. So yeah, basically I pictured that. I then walked out immediately, but slowly, kind of just a normal routine. I mean, for some reason I always kind of, you know, like start as soon as it's literally just outside the building, like. But then, like, well, you know, sometimes I kind of do that. I don't know why, but I do that, you know, in case someone wants to have a word with me, if they'd seen me do it. So I don't look like a coward or a criminal if I'm walking away immediately. It kind of makes me look a bit more suspicious if I just leg it from a building after just picturing it. And I mean, it's pointless to leg it anyway, so yeah. But yeah, basically, I kind of finished, and well, I just went outside, but I kind of stayed where I was when I got outside. And well, one of the guys from in there tracked me down immediately, and well, they'd obviously seen me do it. Yeah, I'm not sure they knew exactly what I was doing. Well, I think they just, well, I mean, the usual kind of situation. They say, why are you picturing your alarm system? I think that's what I said. I mean, they might not even know that as the firearm panel. They could have mistaked it for the firearm panel, perhaps, but still, I don't think that really does it. So yeah, like, well, I say I'm interested in these things. Well, they say like, well, I'd rather that wasn't on your phone. And well, I kind of, you know, like object to that. And then, like, next thing I see, he gets his phone out, he takes a picture of me, and then he says, "You're banned from this shop." So yeah, I mean, it may have hit hard, but well, I guess it goes to show we got like, well, I picture their final system, and then they picture me. Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, speaking of which, in Nisa Local in Enfield, I saw a place. I mean, next to the firearm panel, there's a board with people who are banned from the shop, but they were all like CCTV footage, not like people that they caught and pictured, thinking that they probably wouldn't know what they're doing. Yeah, maybe you should go back there and see if you can find a board of people who are banned from that place. Well, if they want to track me down, they can do that for all I care. I mean, they'll probably be surprised. Seriously, I thought I was the only one. Like, well, actually, I know I'm not, but particularly the only one around. Well, mostly this sort of area. Yes. No, it's mostly people walking out with like. Well, yes. Well, sure, it is kind of necessary to have like CCTV like that in an antique store. I admit it, but I didn't steal anything, did I? I mean, that's a better reason to get banned from that place. I mean, like, that's probably the only large antique store I've been to, were exceptional for that one in Long Melford, but I haven't pictured that file system yet. I just decided not to at that point. It was kind of semi-modern like this one, only it had detectors with bass sounds too. Well, maybe I will go back to that other one and see what happens. If anything, the location can be tagged in this place, so maybe I should do that so that they can track me down and see what I really messed with. Yeah, like RV, I think. Yeah, I can't remember what this place was called. I think it was, Waterside Antiques in Ely. No, I don't think that'd be necessary. Just make your face a copyright image. Huh? Yeah, I'm alright. Apparently. If anything, I'm actually satisfied. I've been able to express myself quite a lot, even though I'm alone in this live stream. Even though we're already up to 1632 and we've got 10 people watching. And some people have actually come forward in the comments, particularly Printer Sofa, claiming that he's probably been to this place as well, apparently. So yeah, like, it's not the sort of place you expect to get banned from a shop, really. Particularly not in London. I mean, think about it. The closest situation I've had to being banned from a shop was just being asked to leave, but not banned from it. Like Robert Dias in Holborn, for example, is the closest thing to it. Like, although somehow I didn't get caught picturing the Forum Hill, which isn't quite as accessible, but it kind of is a bit in the exposure. But I get caught picturing something absolutely in the public area, but also even more within the exposure. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I don't need to go to that place anyway. But I might as well just, document the situation and expose it. Because, like, the moment I walked out of that shop, I was thinking, I think I should expose this in a live stream. Because this situation has never happened before. So yeah, why not expose it on a live stream? It's not like I'm doing something wrong right now. But yeah, I don't need to worry about it. I've done it anyway, so big deal. I mean, it's not like the Robert Dias in Holborn. Like, the moment I got caught and then asked to leave, I hadn't quite finished it. Like, I've been one device short, particularly something I wouldn't find anywhere else. And well, guess what? Like a couple of months later, I returned to that same place to pitch that last device and didn't get caught a second time and got away with it. So, but yeah, that's like the closest thing to getting banned from a shop, but yet I didn't get banned from that place. And considering that I'd returned to it later on to finish what I'd started, how long was I in there for? About 30 minutes at least. Well, normally I wouldn't spend that long in a place like that, but why not? I guess it wasn't all picturing its forum system. Well, also in the boots in Hammersmith, for example, like there have been times where I've been caught picturing and been asked to delete the photos, but obviously I declined. But again, they didn't ban me either. But I suppose they can't really ban me from a place like, like a well-known brand, perhaps. Even if I don't have to return to it again. Well, sure, like, it is dodgy, it is kind of, it is risky in most places, especially in London. Sure, okay. Ah, please. No, I'm not going to get away with literally activating a fire alarm system. Because then that would be a better reason to get banned for doing it unauthorised. Perhaps. But come to think of it, like, what if I, like, later on worked for the fire alarm company that services that system? Chem Alarms is what does it. What if I was to work for that company later on and be called out to the site that I got banned from? What would they make of that? They'd be like, well, I'm here to service your fire alarm system. Like, but then they probably banned me like a while ago, and then what would they be like then? I mean, think about it, like, I'd be authorised to do exactly what I was doing in that place, as well as, I mean, authorised to do more than just picture it, to work with it as well. Well, I don't know exactly. I don't think I have been through a worse situation than this before, but who knows what the. How can you get banned from it, Astor? I mean, I've pictured every foreign system in every Astor I've been to, and I still didn't get banned from any of them. Well, I guess you can still return there. I guess you can't really get recognised in Astor. Although, technically, I rarely get caught in supermarkets anyway. I mean, it's very rarely I'll get caught in a place like Astor or Tesco's. I mean, think about how many of these places I've been to and how many I got caught picturing their fire alarm systems in. And also, what about take Superdrug, for example? Like, how many of those have I been caught picturing their fire alarm systems? I think. Oh, hang on. I mean, there is one that's. I mean, there was one that I've been, like, I pictured one thing, I'd then been monitored from beyond that point. I pictured the last. Yeah, just be warned. It's very creepy to get monitored when you get seen picturing something once, and then you get asked about it picturing it again. Hang on. So yeah, think about it. I've been to like 14 Superdrug stores, and only 2 of them have actually been caught picturing their fire alarm system. Like the one in Ilford and apparently the one in Stowmarket. I mean, I think there are actually 2 in one in Ilford, but it was the one opposite that place that had its disgusting modernisation. Well, not the Superdrug, that had a nice old Zettler system, pretty much. It had been a little bit more nice, but still. It doesn't make any sense at all. Well, no, you must never ask permission, because, I mean, put it this way, like, if you ask permission to do it and they say no, you'll be monitored. And as I say, it's greasy monitored. Like, you won't be able to do it if you ask permission. Only do that, like, if you want to see more of the system, but after you've probably pictured the first lot of it. I mean, I learnt that the hard way originally, but I did eventually return to picture the whole lot, so it doesn't really matter. Well, sure, actually, come to think of it, the situation in London Bridge, I've been told about these train spotters passes, and that's kind of when I decided to think about creating one for picturing fire alarm systems as well. Well, and that was just an idea that I had. It's only getting a hell of a lot of comments right now. Keep the comments coming. Well, it's only normal because it's been around for years, basically. Like, they've probably been doing it since after the 1960s. That's why, even though some people still take it as if they're picturing fire alarm systems. Well, sure, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, I know I'm not the first one to be picturing fire alarm systems elsewhere, but I probably am the most active one at the moment. I mean, I don't know anyone who's been doing it longer than me, but I'm pretty sure there are. You do see fire alarm photos around, taken in certain places somewhere. Like, there was a picture in Tate Modern of one of their Cerberus call points taken in 2009 by someone else. I mean, I know I'm not the only one to picture that fire alarm system. I was not first nor last. I think JM Fire Alarm Systems pictured that system as well. Or was it someone else? I can't remember. But someone else had done it. Yeah, but maybe the more I do it, like, the more people it'll be recognised. So put it that way. I'm not stopping now. I'm just going to keep going. I mean, I'll keep going to various places trying to find old equipment, and I'll picture it if I want to. Besides, there's nothing wrong with picturing fire alarm systems. I'm not damaging them. I'm not messing about with them. I'm just taking a picture of them. That's that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? I mean, it's not like I've brought my keys with me and kind of enabled the controls of the panel. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. When I was at London Bridge, I was actually there when the fire alarm system was being tested. Although I was just leaving on the turbo star towards Eden Bridge, but I managed to capture a bit of it. I mean, the video will be uploaded eventually as soon as I figure out how to export files from a Google Pixel 6 onto the computer. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I will do at some point. Tell you what, don't really think Eden Bridge is a bleak village that you get in Kent. It is actually quite a nice place. Like, Eden Bridge Town actually has a lot of nice old equipment. I mean, first you see a CEL preset panel, I mean, complete original, Project Citadel. And then in another place we see a almost complete original semi-prototypical Chubb system from possibly the 1980s. And even the Boots has a fairly decent system. It's got JSB bells, whereas all the other Boots I've been to at that time had been modernised with either Apollo or, although some Boots tend to have Zyton apparently. I mean, I've seen it in a couple. And I did hear that Shorrock actually reused Zyton equipment, and thinking that maybe some of the Zyton systems you get in Boots could have been Shorrock branded. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, there's only 2 records of Shorrock being used in Boots. I mean, I've seen one of them. Although that particular one's closed down now, but its forum system is pretty much still in there at the moment. But yeah, that is the only Shorrock system I've seen, like, ever. I mean, for nearly 10 years I've only seen one Shorrock system. And Shorrock is really like an interesting company, like BBC Fire Protection. But I just don't know where to find it. Unlike BBC Fire Protection, we know exactly where to find that. Around my area, because the company is based, or at least was, around this area. So it's no wonder it's very common. But the common place you'll find it will be like Argos, Homebase, Iceland, well, particularly demodernised Iceland, and there are some old-style Iceland stores still left, actually. We may think that they all got modernised, but they haven't. But yeah, unlike that company, I don't know where to find Shorrock equipment. Yeah, what, have you been to that one as well? Or have you just seen my pictures? Yeah, the cool point. Apparently, I only pictured the cool point because that was literally the only thing left on the system. The rest of the system had been modernised, if I remember correctly. At least the detectors, anyway. It's not the best Iceland I've seen, but certainly not the worst. Are you based around Ely? I mean, I don't know you that well, but still, I think could have come forward. I mean, I wonder if you know of any other places in Ely that have like decent equipment that I haven't been to yet. I mean, I could go back there. I don't suppose you ever actually saw anyone picturing any foreign system around Ely when I was there, did you? I highly doubt that. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it was definitely Series 65. A lot of modernised Iceland have Series 65 sectors, but well, I'll tell you what, there is a way you can probably tell if the Iceland has been modernised. Oh yeah, there's a school in Asda and so on. I thought that place was a library. Well, I mean, I did think about going there, but decided to save that place for another time. I didn't really have much time left at the time of thinking about going in there. Although I probably could have done. What has an old addressable system? I'm not particularly keen on Vigilon, to be honest, but I suppose if it's old, that'd be alright. But you know, I can't really access a school. I mean, it's not that easy. I mean, I've never done it before. I mean, unless I can find some sort of event that's happening, that might be a chance. But I mean, the chances of accessing a school, particularly to picture a phonal system, is extremely low. No, the library hasn't shut down. I see. It was open when I walked past it. Hey, Daniel. Yeah, I did think about going in there, but I just decided not to. I didn't really have much time. Although somehow, of all the places I chose, I chose to go to the fairly new Asda. Well, it's not the newest I've seen, because it had like... Well, not the newest of ProTech 6000. Well, it had 6000 instead of 6000 plus. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing alright. Probably better now I've got my confidence on this live stream, apparently. Particularly with expressing a situation. But I guess that's the benefit of going through these situations. You have something to talk about. If anything, a lot to talk about. You can come on the live stream if you... Actually, I need to probably get a link sent out. I haven't quite worked out how to do that at the moment. Or maybe I did it. Did I do it last time? I may have. What kind of old gen? Do you think it'd be like System 3400 or 3300 even? What's 61? What's the 61? Oh, I have to look that up. I don't think I've seen the 6100. Is that a type of ProTech panel? Is it addressable? Trying to think, it might be that really compact. Send image of what? Can you send images on live streams? How do you receive them? Before the 90s Gent logo? If this place is in SARM, I better go there. Well, I don't really like SARM that much. It's kind of bleak and it's full of insects. You get attacked like multiple times, but still. Although, like, the new SARM station is, well, now accessible and it's quite a good viewpoint. There's a tour online. How often does this tour happen anyway? RDM. Oh wait, that's the wireless, the early wireless equipment. I think that's what it is anyway. No, I haven't seen the early wireless Apollo systems. I have seen a couple of expander equipment out in the wild. Apparently, Moises Alward added Apollo expander devices to the existing layout when they did their firearm system, so that's one of them. Does EMS fire cell count as well? Because I've seen a lot of that as well lately. Where it kind of is it's basically expander, but it's kind of... But I don't think it's compatible with actual Apollo expander because EMS have kind of retweaked with existing expander and actually improved on it. How are you day? Well, it's not really much to say about this particular day right now until this live stream, that is. Yeah, what is a ProTech 6100 anyway? I think it's... yeah, it's that really small... do you mean SER security? Or is it something else that I haven't heard of? Well, I don't think so then. If you're probably pronouncing it. Just check your comments, see if you've spelled everything correctly. Is that the only school in SARM? I mean, do you know the name of this place? I can look up for a tour online. Well, hang on, if it's online, it probably involves cameras instead of, like group chats or something. Well, no, it can't be like that, surely. But yeah, if this place is accessible, I'll go and have a look at it and picture its file system. If it's still there, that is, although I think early jet visual equipment is quite vulnerable. I know it's not the best of equipment, but still. I mean, pretty sure 3400 is probably still better than modern Vigilant. Well, I'm not sure really, but probably is. I wouldn't know, I haven't used it, I don't intend to use it at all. Well, I don't tend to see like 3400 very often, especially now. And particularly a gent addressable system with the really old gent logo. I don't think I've ever seen that at all. I mean, the oldest I would have seen would probably be like with just the old gent logo from 1990 onwards. Do you know your spelling is quite incorrect? But what is your question anyway? So take your time to write your comments. What's your favourite intelligent? Do you mean intelligent as in Apollo intelligent? Because I don't like that kind of system. I mean, it's too bog standard, and the cool points are bad quality and mostly ugly. And as for those addressable sounders, I may have had a bad experience with. Although I guess to be honest, Series XP95 was also so-called intelligent as well, apparently. Addressable. I kind of lost interest in addressable recently, but I think it still remains at Nitan, basically. Well, either Nitan or Hochiki, most likely, but I suppose it still remains at Nitan. And Hochiki for second best, perhaps. Yeah, I know it does. Well, I probably didn't know what it was at the time, but I do now. Probably remembering the fact that I actually pictured one kind of a while ago. How can I not know that? I mean, I think it was 6100. Fire drill do not run in a fire alarm and it's a wake up system. What? I didn't get that. Yeah, maybe that comment will be edited. I mean, normally I don't tend to go in places that have ProTech 6000 plus. I mean, only places that I'm probably forced into that have 6000 plus, I'd probably picture it. I suppose some places like Asda are probably a disappointment with them modernising their really old Asda stores with 6000 plus. XP95 isn't conventional, mate. It's addressable. I mean, if you look referring to conventional, it'd be like Series 65 or Alarm Sense. Well, it's such a shame that your place has XP95. Well, I mean, I'm just glad that I didn't go through schools that had that stuff in them. Instead, I went through like the most bog standard would be the first one that I took note of in 2006 with the early 2000s Hochiki equipment, and even that's probably better quality than Apollo. And yet all the others were like conventional equipment, which were definitely much better quality. And then we have the Hochiki fire alarm system with conventional sounders remained from a static systems fire alarm system. And, well, if anything, even West Suffolk College has a more decent system than Apollo. There is hardly any Apollo in there. I mean, the only modernisation they went for was Hochiki. And 6000 plus as well. But it's mostly old Protec galore in there. Yeah, I don't think I know SER system. I mean, I might have a look at it later and see what that comes up with. Yeah, I suppose Astor is another one of those places that may be a disappointment. Like, I mean, I heard a record that Astor used to have Fawn and AFA Minerva, but I have no record of that being used. I've only ever seen Protec 6000 or 6000 plus. Well, maybe except for that one Astor in Cardiff that's got a bit of the remains of a Fawn system, but that's the only one I've seen anything close to Fawn in it. Whereas everything else in that system was all 6000 Protec. Yeah, like, I mean, I think if I know correctly, like Astor have been modernising places with their existing systems for Protec 6000 since like before 2006, and I guess some of the Astors built in like 1999 would have had 6000 as standard, like the one in Temple Mills, for example. That one was probably built in about 1998, and it's probably had the, if anything, it's probably the most interesting Astor I've been to with its complete and original early 2000s or late 1990s Protec system. Yeah, I saw those very weird sounders. I mean, I suppose they're kind of a clever design. I mean, I probably have to look a bit into those. I mean, I don't quite know them at the moment. I guess some places like London Underground into modernising their fuel systems that often that they replaced modern Apollo equipment with Soteria in Stratford. Well, I mean, okay, just a couple of detectors, but still. I mean, the advanced panel is still there because it's an advanced panel, because they're literally untouchable. I mean, advanced panel is probably the least likely to go from anywhere. In fact, come to think of it, like, I even came across a renovation site where they had stripped out the whole system, but because the panel isn't advanced, they had kept it aside and said they were going to reuse it for the new system, even though the equipment that they had stripped out was actually newer than the panel. Well, it wasn't really worth saving, it was just boring Apollo equipment with all that stuff on it. I don't know, they probably needs to remove it. I mean, if anything, what they're going to replace it with is no doubt going to be the same equipment that they didn't need, because they already had it, but they threw it all away. But yeah, this just really shows that advanced panels are absolutely invincible. Oh, SEL Safety. Okay, now you pronounced it right. I recognise it now. Yes, I had heard of them, but I haven't really looked at the channel for a while. Although I think I heard that that guy became a fireman, if I remember correctly. If anything, I thought Apollo had already released the Soteria sounders, because I saw a video of one. Actually, I wonder if I can do this. Oh, no, wait, that's not for the... Never mind. Well, I don't know really. Maybe one or two, perhaps. I suppose there is one private forum engineer that I kind of save equipment from regularly via Facebook. So that probably counts, I think. I suppose how we knew each other is that guy actually gave me a job in my area to replace the glass in a cool point. And actually, like 2 years later, I actually saved that actual file system myself, and it's in my collection now. So I got the glass back with its file system. Can you believe that? Although they didn't need to modernise it, it was not that old. But I suppose its replacement was kind of okay, decent. They didn't get rid of the sounds, kept those, but everything else. It's all in my collection now, it's all safe. Yeah, I did tell that possibly anonymous foreign engineer about the fact that I'd saved that system that he had asked me to take over with his job. I mean, how cool is that? I suppose sometimes I do catch the old foreign engineer here and there sometimes. Well, only just to see if they've ripped anything out at that point. I don't think I've done that in a while, but still. Roshning VAD cylinders. I'm not sure if well, I guess these sounders may be a little bit pointless when you got the Flashney, but still. Well, I mean, they're just normal Roshneys with strobe bases. Don't know if I really have much of an opinion on those, but I guess the Roshneys themselves are okay. I mean, the new style one is okay, I guess. They do sound good, but I suppose their quality may not be quite as good as the old Roshneys. I mean, it feels a little bit more delicate than an old Roshney, that's for sure. I think I've only pictured one of those Roshni VAD sounds. I know they've been faced with other opportunities for those elsewhere, but I think I only ever pictured one. Or was it two, actually? Oh, actually, I remember now. I pictured two of those on two different systems. My headphones are made by Logitech. I mean, hence this logo. So yeah, just look up Logitech headphones, and I mean, if anything, I was can't remember who it was, but someone on a B-Face Computing live stream recommended them to me, I think, or at least just the brand name. At least it gave me enough knowledge to get these headphones anyway, so it counts. Ask who what exactly, and what's this all about? I mean, I can sense. Do I have to answer that question? Well, look, I'm just going to say it once again. Yes, but never again. And case closed. Besides, like, I've never done it alone, basically, and I never intended to in the first place, and I won't be doing it again. So that's that. Again, case closed. I mean, really, don't even think about taking it up as if you were an unauthorized, anonymous person. I mean, as a near identical form, even I'm saying that, so I wouldn't do it, especially if you don't have the knowledge. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you think you are. If anything, if you want to surf lifts, become a firearm engineer or a lift engineer. I mean, fact is, firearm engineers can surf lifts too, but authorized to probably get to the detector at the top of the lift shaft. But yeah, don't do it unauthorized. I mean, be sure and probably apply a lift or firearm engineering course that probably involves surfing lifts. Well, I know firearm engineers isn't exactly focused on it, but yeah, you will get the opportunity. I guess I was never really focused on lifts to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. But they are quite satisfying sometimes, depending on what they are. But yeah, don't think for a minute that lift surfing is all that safe. How to change the subject? You know what? I was actually like, for a while, I've been thinking of like giving a guide to picturing firearm systems in certain places, like starting with Tesco's, perhaps. You know, like a guide to like how to do it, like what sort of equipment is commonly seen. Do you think 45 Tesco's is enough to get you the knowledge of what you commonly see in there? Or do you think I should go to a few more and see what's in those ones? Because they can have literally a variety. I mean, not every Tesco has the same firearm system. I mean, I should also cover the fact that Tesco Metro, you'll have the best of luck with those because they're smaller, and every single one of those that I've been to has had a decent system, at least as old as probably early 2000s. Is probably the newest one that's seen. I mean, speaking of which, I'm going back to Felixstowe tomorrow. Possibly. There's a Tesco Metro there, and that one has a 1990s Hochiki firing system, but with replacement detectors, but they've got the really old bases with the LEDs in them. Yeah, there is such things as addressable versions of those too, although I think they actually use the standard conventional bases that you get on the regular ones, but the heads are addressable. Although I'm not too sure really. Maybe they are different, because I don't think you can fit like an SLGE or something like that. Oh no, it wasn't SLGE, an ALGE. That's what it was, because you can't fit one of those on a conventional base like that. I suppose that's the same with between XP95 and Series 65 detectors as well. You can't fit a Series 65 detector on an XP95 base. I mean, I've probably tried it, it doesn't line up. And even comparing Series 90 to Series 30, even their bases are different as well. But I think they're different as in looks, not functionality. Well, yes, functionality, but more than that. Well then. Oh, you can show comments on the stream. Okay, maybe we'll try that next time. Right, I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream now and possibly watch it back. So, well, I'd say thanks for watching, even though there's no one watching it at this point. But yeah, see ya.